Good morning, Live Oak Church. It's May the 6th, so we're in the 6th chapter of Proverbs, and this whole chapter is about warnings, and that's going to be very common and very true in any wisdom literature, because wisdom is not just knowing what to do, but it's knowing what to avoid. And so there's a lot of warnings, and there's a lot of warnings in this chapter. He's going to warn about giving our word, and how if we give our word to someone, the way he words it is we put ourselves in our neighbor's hand, particularly if we put up security for a stranger. He's going to warn us about being lazy. He's going to say, here's 7 things the Lord hates, and the first one he names is haughty eyes, so the Lord hates pride. And then he spends at least a third, maybe even more of the chapter warning again against adultery. Don't be drawn away by the temptress, and that's always good advice. But the part that I want to focus on begins in verse 12, and it is the warning about a worthless, wicked man. And listen to what he says there in verse 12. A worthless person, a wicked man, goes about with crooked speech, winks with his eyes, signals with his feet, with perverted heart it devises evil, continually sowing discord. And then he says there in verse 15, calamity is going to befall them. So there's 4 things that he uses to describe, or the 4 ways he describes this worthless, wicked person. Crooked speech, winking eyes, signaling feet, sowing discord. Now, when I first read that, and you may even think, well, that sounds a lot like a career politician to me. Aren't they always winking and smiling, and their words always have double meaning, and you never know what's true? And I would go, yeah, I think that can be true with a lot. I won't say all, but I think that can be true with a lot. We may think of a crooked businessman, or we may think of the media, both conservative and liberal. I mean, always trying to say, I want you to think a certain way. I'm trying to control the way you think. I'm trying to control the narrative to achieve my purpose. And one of my purposes is, if I can keep disunity, then it keeps everyone focused on me. And it's easy for us to look out and see that and go, yeah, that's bad. I can see how that's worthless. I can see how that's wicked. But we never, or almost never, do that to ourselves. Or I guess I should ask, do we ever do that to ourselves? Do we ever go, am I what the scripture calls a worthless, wicked person? I don't think I am. I don't intend to. But I need to ask, do I speak clearly? Do I strive to speak clearly? Or do I speak with a lot of innuendo and insinuation and in vague terms, knowing that different people will take it different ways, always for the purpose of, I want you to have disunity among yourselves so that you still are able to focus and, I'm important. Do I speak with winking eyes? So I'm saying something, but I'm, whether I'm winking or not, but I'm looking at someone else maybe in the family, and I'm like, you know what I mean. Like, we're together, but I have to say this. And that's a wicked, worthless person, according to Proverbs here. And do I have co-conspirators? So I'm signaling with my feet, like, okay, you hear what I'm saying, but I'm signaling to you that, let's put the plan in action. It's time to act. Is my goal discord, disunity? Am I doing all of those things for the purpose that you're not focusing on me in a negative way? You're disunity with each other, and I am someone you're looking to. That's not good. And so we need to avoid that. And how do we avoid that? Well, it begins with our speech. If we're constantly having to say, you misunderstood me, no, that's not what I meant, and we're having to do that, and in doing that, they're always assuming the negative, that should be a red flag. It means one of 3 things. I'm not good at communicating. They are not good at communicating, so they can't understand what I'm saying. Or my intent is evil. If I'm honest, I have an evil intent. And we need to be honest about that. If we're dealing with someone who's that way, we need to go, okay, either you're bad at communication, I'm bad at communication, or you have evil intent. And we have to work towards speaking clearly, not crooked. We can't have crooked speech. That's the beginning. We don't have co-conspirators. We're not winking and we're not giving innuendo. We're not alluding to something and implying things. We're speaking clearly. Are you a person who strives to speak clearly in your communication? Are you trying to speak clearly, or are you trying to encourage the other person to speak clearly by asking questions? What do you mean by that? This is what I'm hearing you say. Is that what you're saying? All for the goal of clear communication. Because he says something here that we would never say in Scripture, in church. He says a worthless person, a wicked person. Those are strong words. I don't think we'd ever say that in church. We'd say, oh, people are made in the image of God. And yet, Scripture has no problem saying the person who's doing these things, they're worthless. They are wicked people. So the beginning of wisdom begins with, is my speech crooked? Or do I strive to have clear speech, clear communication, all for the goal of unity, not disunity? Let's be wise people. Let's try to speak clearly.